just want you to sit in your chair and go hip hip hooray for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old every single day without the stop. Please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Good evening, everyone. It's the history of literature. The history of literature. I'm still honestly, it's mad. Got this bloody thing going. This. Anyway, I'm here. Got my mate with me as well. And let's see what we can pick out tonight. I've got a few quotes as well I want to mention, which applies to today. So they go off then. Got all these little things around. It's going like this. Why am I doing that? Let me try and. Suppose this will go off. I don't know what that is anyway. If it's any better. I don't know what's wrong with it, to be honest. The lovely Lynn. Even Frank. Hello, Lynn. Good evening. Good evening. And evening, Anthony. As well. Got all this bloody itching again, you know. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is, but I can't do anything about it, unfortunately. So we all in there fine fettle tonight. Looking forward to the week. Looking forward to the week. Toss up, I got my little tissue, because when I come in here, it just I don't know what it is. All itchy around my nose, my nostrils. That's all it is. I'm going for my flu jab tomorrow. I have to get it in my left arm because I lie on my right and I can't lie on my back because I stop breathing. I've got one of those things. Wake up gasping. Ciao Franco, Anthony and Chatters, says the lovely Toscana. Hope you're all well. I can't see any of the comments. Good evening, Frank and legends in the chat. Hope everyone is well, says the wonderful Johan. And that's Mr. Brown calls him, our international artist, Mr. Kindness himself, which is nice. I like that. And my old friend, Stephen Mulholland, great fella. He's one of the fellas who, he's just a nice fella. You'd like him if you ever spoke to him. He's one of those gentle speaking people. And he's got the same views as myself on every aspect of world affairs, which is good. That's Steve Mulholland, the lovely Irene, evening Frank, evening Irene. And the little ambidextrous to Toscana. Are you the first to comment? You're the first to comment, yeah. And Toscana says, thank you. That makes me sense. That makes sense. Thank you. But anyway, I'm going to bring in my wonderful friend. He hasn't stopped moaning since last night. That's all he ever does is moan, as you all know. But anyway, here he is. Now, before I bring him on, I've got to thank these wonderful people. And it's Gap Painting Services. And Gap Painting Services, listen, Christmas is coming up. Christmas is coming up, people. I'm fed up with this, you know. Fed up with it. I'm going to take it off. Yes, Frank is getting undressed. I'll have to freeze in here. Can't stand it. You shouldn't wear coats, should you, really? You know, in bloody homes. Let's see. No, that's okay. That's it. Anyway, Gap Painting Services, people, listen, Christmas is coming up. Don't struggle. Please don't struggle trying to decorate. Get these lads in. If you're an elderly couple, get them in. Don't struggle. Special discount. And that applies to as well as the wonderful NHS workers. Just get them in. Don't be coming home after long shifts, and just get them in. Let them do the work, and you get a special discount. And if you're not one of those categories, just call them in to give you the price without any obligation. And you'll find out how reasonable they are. Okay? That's Gap Painting Services, the sponsors of the Frank Carlyle Show. Every podcast I make, these wonderful people. And there I am again. Look. I'm going to bring in this fella now. Hello, Martin.
Good evening, my dear friend. Good evening, one and all. See, not a moan out of me there.
Do you know, it's I've got a wonderful quote for you, right?
Yeah.
And I think this, it comes, I don't like American literature, to be honest. I like Arthur Miller's Crucible, The Crucible, if you know what I mean. And I don't know about Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath. You know, everybody goes, wow, you know, that's great and whatever.
Yeah.
But we have our own, like, grapes of wrath, if you like, with the likes of Dickens and everybody else.
Yeah, we do. I was kind of touched first time I read Of Mice and Men, and because that's got that nod to humanity and the flaws that make us human. Some nasty bits, but some positive bits. But yeah, I remember reading that when I was quite young, late teens, early teens, and that having an impact on me. But I read it at the same time as George Orwell, 1984, and Animal Farm. So they all go into a pot, don't they? And then over the years, what really touched us floats to the surface.
But yeah, you get these things like the likes of Orwell, if you know what I mean. And Orwell is one of the greatest. If I can remember, is however much you deny the truth goes on existing, and that's what Orwell said. It
Yeah,
does keep on existing, no matter how you deny it.
yeah,
And even Steinbeck said, if you're in trouble or hurt or in need, go to the poor people. They are the only ones that'll help. The only ones.
yeah.
That's a great quote from Steinbeck.
That is a great quote. And again, both of those quotes are true
Yeah.
in terms of we're living it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes. Of course. Because I've just been looking at Germany. I know this is, but I'm just trying to compare and contrast what's happening with the likes of these quotes by these great literature people, because
yeah,
that's what they are, literature people, Steinbeck and Orwell. And there's Olaf Merz, the Chancellor of Germany, and he
yeah,
said to the pensioners or, people who are still working, and he said, oh, you've got to work now until you're 72 because there's no money for pensions. Yet he's putting billions into Ukraine. And that just doesn't seem right, for the German people. And
yeah.
there's murder over it.
No,
And when again, when you look at the likes of Mark Twain, for example, when the rich wage war, it's the poor who die.
yeah, yeah.
You
I'm
see?
absolutely right. Yeah, yeah.
But you see how
Well,
prevalent it is today.
and it's kind of present in its current, but it should really be on your current affairs, and I'm sure it is. Um, the fact that we over here are told that even though you spend all your years paying tax, you missed a bit there, top that up, you missed a bit there. We're told too that it's not enough. And going back in the
There you
histories,
go.
I know we cross our wonderful literature geniuses with history, um, but I always remember the discovery that King John wasn't the bad guy of the two brothers,
No,
and
he
he was
wasn't because
he was trying to.
I'm sorry, Anthony. Go on. I'm sorry. I'm
No, no,
sorry to break it.
no. I mean, it was you that alerted me to it, and he was trying to
Oh,
keep a lid on it and do right by people and his brother's demands.
well, his
Like,
brother's demands, on the Crusades, out of his 14-year tenure, Richard the Lionheart spent 4 months. There was rain in the country.
yeah,
And he was going around everywhere, he's going over to the Middle East with his Red Cross and ethnic cleansing, really. That's what he was doing. The Crusades, the Holy Crusades. And every time, like as I said, within that 4 months, he always came back for money.
yeah,
He always came back for money. And what had happened, Anthony, is that Prince John, he was only Prince then, he was putting up the taxes. He said, listen, put up the taxes. And he was saying, well, I'll be blamed. I'll be blamed for everything. So anyway, he put up the taxes. So when Richard had died, excuse me, when Richard had died, he, he became king then. but he wasn't looked at favourably because of the taxes. And it's not like getting on the telly and saying, "Listen, it wasn't me, it was our kid." He couldn't do that.
No.
So he sent antiquaries around and librarians and whatever to tell the people of the country, these earls and barons and whoever, saying, listen, this is why we're not under the, we should have been with Cheshire. Now, the Earl of Chester, I'm sorry, when the antiquary of King John got to him, because he was going around the country saying, well, what do you think of the king? And he didn't like him. He said, no, he said, I don't like him. He said, every like few months, he's always putting taxes up and we have to give all these taxes. He said, so I don't like the new king. So he took no heed. He actually took no heed of what the antiquary was saying. He said, but it wasn't his fault. It was to give to the king to carry on with the crusades. And he said, I'm not worried. I don't like him. That ends up. So anyway, by the time he got back to King John, and he mentioned Liverpool. He said, there's a land there. He says, it's brilliant. He said, Chester's always silting up. He said, so we can't embark and disembark troops quickly. He said, but this place, he said, it's not claimed for anyone. He said, it's no one's land. He said, my advice is claim it for the realm. And he said, well, what is it? So we told him we became Liverpool on the 28th of August 1207 because he gave the royal charter, called it Liverpool. Liver meant seaweed because there was lots of seaweed surrounding the shores, and pole because the people called the other river running in, which ran from the Mersey right through to where Queensway Tunnel is, the bottom of St. John's Gardens. That's where it ran. That was a river.
Yeah.
I think I was explaining last night about the fountain and, the original.
Yeah.
Because you can't get rid of it. It's still there.
Yeah.
So anyway, he said, well, okay. He said, I'll claim it for the realm. He said, what's it? I think it was Simon, the Earl of Chester. And he said, he called you for everything. Because we would have come under Cheshire. And he said, oh, did he know? He said, well, what did T. Ferris say? The Earl of Lancaster. He said, he said, you're all right. He said, you're all right. You're a good king. And we've got to, not just obey, but be the best for the country, be the best for England. So we said, oh, well, okay. He said, put Liverpool in the Earl's thing and tell him to go down to the new borough of Liverpool and see what he can do for the new borough of Liverpool. That's what we were called, Lyre hyphenated Pole.
Yeah.
So we said, okay. And that's when William D. Ferris came down and he went, whoa, because it was a great honour for anyone to go to a new borough, especially from a king's charter.
Yeah.
I went, took it as a great privilege, and this is how we became part of Lancashire.
Yeah. And this is also, it sounds like, feels like that's where a sense of independence came in for Liverpool.
Nail on the head.
Yeah.
Nail on the head.
The only other thing in literature that kind of sealed that really, which is a nice bit of icing on the cake, by someone who didn't actually come to Liverpool, was the line by Carl Jung.
Oh, yeah, the Pearl of Life.
Yeah.
Liverpool, the Pearl of Life, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a dream. That was a dream. which was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, to have a dream and say about Liverpool, never even been here.
Yeah.
But King John came here, you know. Did you know that? King John had come up to Liverpool. And he actually sailed along, you know, the pool itself from the Mersey. He actually sailed along it. And it was the pool itself, believe it or not, was 30 foot in places, 30 foot deep. You
Wow.
know, so if you could imagine coming off and say, like, you've got to get the image now of Shavas Park,
Yeah.
coming along, then you turn into Paradise Street, then you go straight along to Whitechapel, and then you come to a resting place, which is uh, the Mersey Tunnel, the Queensway.
Wow.
And that's where, you know, so it was 30 foot deep in places. And that's why it was so important, as I said, about the fountain in Williamson Square. That should
Yes.
be kept going, that, because it's the natural water from the pool that gave us our name.
Yeah. That's living history. It's
Of
there.
course, yeah, yeah. But the says it clogs up. Oh, sod off, it clogs up. God blimey, there. You can go to Pompeii and fountains are still going after 2,000 years.
Yeah.
And that was it by you know, a big
Volcano.
volcano. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, if you know what I mean. Anyway, Johan says, good evening, international artist, Mr. Brown, and there's 3 scotches for you.
Right. Me and Frank are both on the scotches. Thank you, Mr. Kindness, Johan. You are great. We're sharing the scotches to ward off the flu.
Everything, isn't it? Yeah,
Just
everything. We're warding off everything.
yeah.
And Johan says, Frank, I was watching a show and I heard an actor recite, to see a world in grain of sand and a heaven in a wild flower holds infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in. And
I
that's
know.
William Blake.
Yeah. Cheers.
I'm sure that's Blake.
It is Blake. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you know? Oh, okay. Oh, brilliant, that, Johan.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, yeah.
That would have been a great show then, that, Johan.
Yeah, look at that. Just seeing it there. It really stood out, so I looked it up, and sure enough, it's from Aquarius of Innocence by William Blake.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
That is incredible. And that
Oh,
leads
fantastic. Well done, you. Well
right,
done, you.
right back into him
Johan.
because he left this world with nothing. No, he had a few mutual writers and colleagues who adored him, and the people that lived with him thought he was an angel. He was just like something else. But people sadly neglected him. And that is wonderful, Johan, because that brings it right to date.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It does bring us up to date simply because it's the man himself, if you know
Yeah,
what I mean. It's the man himself. And, you know, I, I, I've got to read this.
yeah,
I've got to read it. Well, recite it or whatever. And it's London by William Blake.
yeah,
And when you think about it, just let me read, and I'll try to. I'm not saying like. I'm just. I'm not saying you're in a class or anything, but I'm just trying to explain the poem, if you know what I mean. You
yeah,
know, to you and to our wonderful audience there. And it's called London. I wander through each chartered street, near where the chartered Thames does flow, and mark in every face I meet marks of weakness, marks of woe. In every cry of man, in every infant cry of fear, in every voice and every bow, the mind-forged manacles I hear. How the chimney sweepers cry, every blackening church appalls, and the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls. But most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlot's curse blasts the newborn infant's tear and blights with plagues the marriage hearse. Now let me explain about that. Now where it says, I wander through a chartered street near where the chartered Thames does flow, what it's saying is each chartered street no one can go down. You, me, or anybody unless you're dragged in for vagrancy because it was for the rich. It was only the rich. Chartered. They were chartered. So the likes of you, me, or anybody else, any from poor districts, or you couldn't go walk down there. That's how bad it was. And out of the chartered streets, where every face of man he meet, marks of weakness, marks of woe, because that's how people, they were so miserable in life. In life. And the mind, where he says as well about in every voice, in every band, the mind-forged manacles I hear. And what it is, you couldn't speak out. Ban. The voice of ban. You were banned, you couldn't say anything. And the mind-forged manacles I hear because you know that you are chained. Which brings me back to around the same time that the poem was written to Jean-Jacques Rousseau when he turned around and said, man is born free, however, he is everywhere in chains. You see, so this is what he's saying, Blake.
Powerful.
This, unbelievably powerful.
Yeah.
Man-forged manacles, I hear. It's the banging of the manacles. It's banging around your neck. It's banging around your mouth. It's banging around your eyes. This is what the mind-forged manacles are. The change, you're chained to whatever the state is saying. You do as we tell you to do.
Yeah.
And I think about the hapless soldiers, the blackening church appalls. The blackening church appalls as the helpless soldier sighs as blood runs down palace walls. And these are wars. There's a hapless soldier, he has to go to war. And it just goes back to what Twain said. That's all it goes back to. It goes forward to because he said it well after, over 100 years later, when he said, when the rich wage war, it's the poor who go to war. So he's a hapless soldier. And the blackening church appalls because they're just sitting there, saying, oh, yeah, okay. And it goes back to Wilfred Owen in Anthem for Doomed Youth. Anthem for Doomed Youth. The title tells you it all. When he said, what passing bells for these who die as cattle? The bells of the church.
Yeah.
And as you're walking to your death, you're being blessed by the church. It's incredible. But
it is incredible, yeah. But Blake had a long, because he grew up in a God-loving family. His mum and dad, his brother, and him wanted to, but he did not believe in the trappings of the church, the red tape.
I'm brought up a Catholic. I was brought up in the Catholic faith, going to church and,
Yeah.
God bless me. But anyway, that's by the by. And no matter how you look at faith, you've got to hold on to something. There's something. Because if you've got nothing, there's nothing there to hold on to. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, you've got to have a faith,
You've got to have something.
a belief. It's
Yeah, you've
something,
got to have a belief.
even yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, our local hero, John Lennon, 1971, after going through the turmoil of Beatledom, kind of stripped everything back. And there's a wonderful song he did called God. And his opening lines were, God is a concept by which we measure our pain. And it's true that everything in life, we're ill. One of our loved ones is ill. We pray to God.
Well, do you know, Blake, as I mentioned about London, do you know what the most hard-hitting is? The last stanza. The last 4-line stanza where he says, but most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlot's curse blasts the newborn infant's tear and blights with plagues the marriage hearse. And what that is that these gentlemen who go in their lovely carriages and look out at these young girls. Listen, it has to be said. The Victorian era, from the Georgian era, which, Blake was writing, right, this poem was full of paedophiles. And the younger the child, the better. A prostitute. Yeah? And there it says, the youthful harlot's curse. The youthful harlot's curse. What's a harlot? A young prostitute. She has a baby. That's the baby crying. And yet, blast the newborn infant's tear and blights with plagues the marriage hearse. So, this fella has just been with this young girl who has diseases, by the way, venereal diseases. And after he's finished with her and he gets back in his carriage, he goes home to his nice posh house, his mansion or whatever. And it's the plague, the marriage hearse. So he's passing on his disease in his home.
Yeah.
That's how powerful that particular poem is. London.
Yeah.
You see?
Well, it's well documented that it was very inspirational to Charles Dickens.
Yeah. So we see what the people have been saying.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And Faster Tortoise says King John was one of those nobles ganged up on him and told him to stop being, and stare it and sign this Magna Carta. That's right. He said because no matter how anybody looks at Richard the Lion, look, Richard the Lionheart, as it carries on today, the Lions, the football team, the Lions. You've got the women's football team called the Lionesses. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it carries on today. They love the Lionheart.
Yeah.
They love the Red Cross. Oh, Jesus. You've got the English flag as the Red Cross. And Stephen says, no matter where you go in the world, you will find some link to Liverpool. Yep. Shankly said it. Shankly said it. Chains of gold, says Michael John. Chains. Well, there's the way things are now. I can't even go out. I can't wear my best watch. I can't wear. I've got good watches. Can't wear them. I can wear them in here. You know what I mean? And I was given one, as you know, off Rod Home, presented because of being their particular historical consultant.
Yeah.
Do you want to see it?
Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah.
I can't wear it. Can't wear it out.
I totally get that. Yeah. Where would you go? Feel safe with it?
And how long have I had it? That goes back to 2009.
Yeah.
Presented to me. And it's so sad. You know, that, you know, the score. Daryl, Francolino, Tony.
Hi, Daryl.
And Owen says, good evening, Frank, Anthony and chat. I owe you gents an apology. Missed last week's show after requesting William Blake.
No apology needed, Owen. We are glad for any excuse to bring William Blake into everything, which he is.
Because William Blake is one of the greatest of all. He cares about, or he did care about everything. And what I mean about everything, what you've got to understand about Blake is that he was a philanthropist in words, wasn't he?
He was.
Anthony?
He was, with his talents, he was a philanthropist. He scattered his talents around, sometimes quite freely, for good reasons. Book illustrations,
Yes.
to illustrate pieces of work that would not ordinarily get published. Mary Wollstonecraft is the first that comes to mind.
Mary.
No.
She's one of my great heroines.
Yeah.
Along with, I bet you're well alert. You should have to do it. Along with Queen Cartamandua, you know, the Roman invasion.
No.
And she was married to a fellow by the name of Venutius. Now, Venutius, he hated the Romans. He said, the Romans, he said, that's right. And she said, no, let's trade with them. What have we got? Let's trade. But you had the likes of who we've made a big hero of, Boudica.
Yes.
Because she said, fight. Because her husband, Prasutagus, you know, he was a client king of Rome. And when he died, he said, listen, you know, we can't do the trade. We can still trade, but you're not the queen. You know, you haven't got the authority that your husband has, Prasutagus. And she said, I'm going to fight you. But anyway, you know, so we made it a great big heroine, if you like. A big heroine. Right, so what I'm going to say is, if you don't mind me reading another poem, I think Owen will be made up with this.
Good.
Because it's another poem, if you don't mind me saying it. And it's very hard hitting again. It's about, he's championing, you know, he's getting out there. Now, this is what, 50 years?
Yeah.
55 years before Dickens.
Yeah.
right? And he's coming out with this, and it's about a little chimney sweep, and he says, "A little black thing among the snow, crying, weep, weep, in notes of woe. Where are your father and mother? Say, they are both gone up to the church to pray. Because I was happy upon the heath and smiled among the winter's snow, they clothed me in the clothes of death and taught me to sing the notes of woe. And because I am happy and dance and sing, they think they've done me no injury, and are gone to praise God and his priest and king, who make up a heaven of our misery." See, child labour. Think about it. The opening line. A little black thing among the snow, crying, weep, weep, in notes of woe. He can't pronounce the S's, it's a little boy. He's a little black thing amongst the purity of the snow. But it's only a little black thing, covered in dust, soot. And it's not like a little black boy or a little boy covered in soot among the snow. It's a thing.
Thing. Yeah, of no importance to anyone.
No importance, no. And this is what he's getting out. Children are not, they were treated as mini adults. And that went right on to the bloody cotton mills around Lancashire and Leeds.
Yeah.
They worked in the mills. They were terribly maimed, sometimes killed, going into the machines when it clogged up, and they had to take all the fluff or whatever away to get the machines going again. And when they did that, they had to get out quick, and if they were slow, bang, boom. They could either lose a hand, a leg, or be killed.
Horrific.
Of course. And, you know, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying, and when we can be objective now. We look with the time scale of these wonderful visionaries, but you can understand totally how Dickens was inspired by him, too, and many others, but to get that message across in a society that didn't give a tuppence halfpenny stuff. Wow.
It just shows you, doesn't it, that are we always looking at something today on the TV, and I watch these real crimes, you know, and the court cases and things, American, and a fella, he gets his 12-year-old daughter, he's away from his wife, and he brings her to his house and kills her. He has his way with her, kills her, and then tries to tidy up and whatever. But the police were right onto him. And this is what's going on today. You get there's another, it's sickening. I'll have to stop watching them, because there was another fella, and he just goes out. He's got 3 lovely children, little children playing in, you know, what they call the backyard or the front yard or whatever, you know, big place, big garden, and his lovely wife, and she's just sitting there, you know, looking at them playing. And he just comes up and shoots the four, dead.
Jesus. My God.
Just shoots them. And, you know, see, America is Dodge City.
Yes.
It is because what you've got you've got these police walking around with guns, and they're no better, to be honest. I've seen them in work, and cowards as well. Cowards. I've seen them, and what you see is shocking footage, and they just sell guns. They sell to anyone. If you're a felon, you can't buy a gun, but that doesn't stop you from getting a gun. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone's got guns. Everyone.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But it kind of ties in with what you were saying before about religion.
Yes.
We were both brought up Catholics. We're not um, practicing 9 to 5. But what you're taught and what you've grown up with stays with you. But it's that idea of there's got to be somewhere better than here. You know, living
So this is
amongst
what we've
people.
got to hang on to. The faith. This is what we've got to hang on to. And I think Mark Twain came out with a comment, come out. And he said, never argue with an idiot. They will drag you down to their level and beat you with the experience. And
Yeah.
right, you shouldn't argue with an idiot.
Yeah, you can't.
And they beat you down to their with their experience, so you get to their level
And
of
that's exactly what happens.
idiocracy.
Yeah. And I personally think that's the way the world has gone. Um, I think with all levels of creativity, with writing, with music, with art, with everything, with TV and film, it's dumbed down to aim to the
That's,
moderns
yeah,
because it sells.
yeah. When I look at literature, um, we can see, we can pick up something, we can pick up a book or whatever. What's this here? I can't say that. We can pick up anything, and no matter what I've got, look at it. I was trying to pick out a good novel there, and my library's just there, and I've got some fantastic books, and the books, anything. Let's fucking see what this is. Let's see, like the likes of this, the Gothic tales, and you pick it up and you start reading it, and there's nothing better than
No,
reading a book,
no.
right? You
Once it,
never know what. Sorry, go on, Anthony,
once it
please.
throws you in as well, and you know from the first few pages, and it's like you put me on to. I love Dickens and Lena loves Dickens. We've grown up with him, but um, the particular story you put me on to the other week, said read that, and then we'll talk next week. Which was the railway story, the signalman. Now, within a page, I was connected to it.
You see, I'll lend you this one I've got here. Now, our Lainey, she reads, doesn't she? Lainey.
Yeah.
When I see her, and look at his name, Isak Denison. Isak, if you know
Wow.
what I mean.
Zach.
And Seven Gothic Tales. She'll love that.
Are
You
they?
like Gothic, don't you? You like the Gothic period.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
It's yours.
And again, it's kind of mind blowing when you think of what we grew up with as kids. The the, the fairy fairy tales, the songs, the you know, um, they were all based on Gothic dark tales. The
Yeah, yeah. So that's yours, though.
beauty.
You'll
Oh,
enjoy it. I
you
know you will.
love that. I've been.
Daryl says, because it was little Austin's birthday, and he says,
Oh,
Austin had the best birthday, some tears for mummy, but an incredible day. Also, thank you to Jason for sending Austin money. So kind.
oh,
Well,
channel.
that's what Lisa's
That's
all about.
beautiful. Give us the
And
my best.
yeah, well, we said that. And Johan, Frank, a couple of friends of mine went on a study abroad program to university, to Texas. They could just walk in and buy a gun from the local Walmart, no questions asked.
Yeah,
A gun.
yeah,
Says it all. And Christopher, so never argue with me, Frank and Anthony, and everyone like and subscribe. Thank you, Christopher.
we wouldn't argue with you, Christopher. We like you. You're one of us.
Yes, absolutely. But he's talking about the other. Don't argue with me, like and subscribe.
Yeah,
Do there's poets, isn't there? And there's poets. You get the prose writers, who I love, the likes of Dickens. And when you get the likes of, say, Marcus Aurelius came out with a cracking one, and
yeah,
a Roman emperor, and he said, "It's the truth I'm after, and the truth never harms anyone. What harms us is to persist in self-deceit and ignorance." And that's what it's all about.
yeah, yeah,
And to carry on with that, you get the likes of Oscar Wilde, who said, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
yeah,
And when you think about it, you know, it's like me, believe it or not. If no one phones me, do you know that? Nobody, nobody. And I'm sitting there all day on my own. Can't leave anywhere. I'm with Francine back at uni. She phones me now and again, just now and again, because she's got a family to bring up. But sometimes she rings up and it's like half an hour, which is great because, as I said, I talk to nobody. The only people I talk to is you. Now I get a response. You see,
yeah,
what I'm trying to say is I can pick up a book and read it. I can pick up a poem and read it. I can write a poem if I want. I can look at quotes, fantastic quotes by great people. You know, that's why I look at different categories in
Yep.
life. That's why I said about the Chancellor mates, saying there's no money for pensioners, so you'll have to work until you're 73 years of age. And that's wrong to tell
Yeah.
his German people. And no one likes him. The German people don't like him. And he's in a coalition. And yet he's sending billions. And you know what else he said? No, this is Germany. Germany, 2 wars against him. And he wants to build the biggest army in Europe. What's that telling you?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, because they weren't allowed to build another army. Yet, he's just coming out and said, well, I'm going to build the biggest army in Europe. And it applies what I'm saying today.
Yeah.
When the rich wage war, it's the poor who die.
Yes. Yes, because there's money generated by the war
As the
armament.
hapless soldier sighs as blood runs down palace walls,
Yeah.
the state sends you. So everything's geared up. And as I said, George Orwell, one of the greatest of all people, one of the greatest visionaries.
Yeah.
And you've got, who do you reckon's the greatest visionary in literature? I know I've got it here, right here.
H.G. Wells.
Here you go.
But I mean, I wouldn't say by 25 miles he's the greatest
No.
because there's so many. But
Orwell.
yes, absolutely. And what Orwell put himself through in life, choosing to live on the streets. And as we've mentioned before, the most important thing that these people kind of tell us to do is observe. And H.G. Wells did it, Orwell did it, Dickens did it, Shakespeare did it. It's just to watch what happens in that crowded room, that heated debate, that argument, and what happens afterwards and afterwards. And it was one of them, I think it might have been H.G. Wells, who said that to make fiction seem plausible, the imagination is this world, is regular doses of normality. So a man opens the door and says good morning to the postman, takes the post, all normal. And then you introduce something. Orwell did it perfectly. 1984.
There's always something sinister, isn't there?
There is. And you just described it as well now with Germany and with Ukraine and with what's going on. Why? If we're all struggling countries, England as well as Germany and whatever, why are we giving away so much when our own need it? And then,
Well, that's great, that, because someone put a post up. And as I said, I never go on that face here. I was just scrolling because I was sitting there like some dope. And I looked at this post, and it was about our leader. And he's sitting, I don't know what he's sitting in, but he's got a skull cap on. He's got a tiny hat on. And I'm going, what's this? And again, it's money and it's arms. to a certain country that's committing genocide, and they're in denial of genocide. I'm going, and yet in this country, and no one's helping them, are 5.2 million children below the poverty line.
Yeah.
And this is what I can't get my head around.
Yeah.
Helping these people.
Absolutely, because they are no further advanced than William Blake wrote about.
No.
And then later Dickens, and then no.
Even Shakespeare wrote it.
Yeah.
He wrote about it. You've only got to Owen Lee. I've read C.J. Sampson's Shardley series about a hunchback lawyer working for Cromwell during Henry VIII's time. That Cromwell is it's not the Cromwell we think of, Oliver Cromwell, because he was years later, and he actually had Cromwell executed. Yeah, there's something for you. I'm going to surprise you there. If you know, it's not a surprise. If you don't know, it will be a surprise. During the reign of Henry VIII, do you know how many people he had executed?
No.
Shall I tell you?
Yes, please.
I'm going to surprise you now, Anthony. 72,000. That's like going to the match with me to a full house in Liverpool. Right? Yeah. 62,000 or whatever we all now. 65 or whatever. And all them, when you look around, enormous. Yet there's a few thousand more to be added to that total, what he has executed. If you like The Name of the Rose by Umberto, yeah, it is actually.
I loved it.
Film? Sorry, go on.
I loved that film. I thought it was great. That film. Shocking, but great. I loved it.
Yeah. The Name of the Rose.
Yeah.
And who starred in it? Can you remember?
Wow.
He said, my name's Shaken Not Stirred. My name's Bond.
Yeah.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery was right. Yeah, he was in it. I could see his face, couldn't think of a name. That's like, was that late 80s that came out? Or early 90s?
No, yeah, the 80s. Yeah, or the, yeah. And the other one says, to find solace in one's own company is often perceived as a loneliness to the untrained eye. One learns more by looking inward rather than staring at shadows cast by the fire in a cave.
That's very eloquent and very right, Johan. I think there's a point where doing what you do, Frank, and I include what I do, and there's many others as well, where it's beneficial to be in our own company, in our own head, because we know where we're going. We're not swayed by anything else. I've never had an issue, even when I was a little boy, of being by myself to do stuff, to read or whatever. I never ever, certainly not when I was younger, I thought of it as lonely. I have mates and friends and stuff, but it's that thing of, I think we achieve most of what we've become by being by ourselves.
I think that's a very good point because it's it's you know you start thinking, don't you? You know, when you're on your own, you think, especially when you're young, because you're a sponge when you're young. You're a sponge, and I always, as I said, I used to go into the library and pick out these books by these great military people. I don't know why military, but I did. I was just picking them out. The likes of Nelson, the likes of Montgomery, the likes of the wonderful Caesar. You know, now he
Yeah,
was the first dictator, to be honest, was Caesar, but and Napoleon Bonaparte.
yeah,
I read about these at a very young age, and as you grow into adulthood, you know, then you go to college and university, and you want to do these particular things. You want to try and bring them into whatever you're writing about,
yeah,
and this is where you're learning more,
yes,
especially when you get primary sources. You know what these people were really like,
yeah,
and how other people viewed them.
yeah,
And Napoleon was viewed as a dictator, a man who liked to cause wars. But you've got to look at the writers then. You've got to look at the writers then. And it's like the writers now. And it's all propaganda that they were saying about Napoleon.
yeah,
Because all as he wanted to do was to trade with the rest of Europe. He said, why are we fighting? Because we were always at wars. England was always at wars with Spain and France.
yeah.
For years, hundreds of years. Always at.
Because they were on a power
Always.
trip, weren't they?
Sorry?
They were on an ultimate power trip.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if they could conquer the world, going to Walmart, buy that gun, conquer the world.
As Johan said, two of his friends went over to Texas and just walked into an old Walmart and they could buy guns without any questions. I know the lads mustn't have done, you know, because why should they? It's a dangerous place, America.
It's petrifying, Frank, petrifying.
It is
And,
petrifying.
and ultimately, it would have been in England as well. You know, declaring
And
war on
Owen
Spain,
says,
Plato's cave.
uh, look, when the Romans came over in AD 43, Claudian invasion, they built everything for us. They educated us, they built us roads, they built us temples, they built us everything. And you've only got to go to Bath, and that's why it's named Bath, because they built what you see today is great, it's an old Roman thing, but it was much bigger. It was on a bigger scale. The Roman baths. That's to wash ourselves. We were running around with woes on our faces and our backsides.
Yeah,
Woes. This is what we were like.
yeah,
Going back to ancient times when Caesar came. And he said, okay, he said, look, I'll trade with you. I'll bring you over some things, but you've got to give me things back. That's what you call trade. And that's why he made client kingdoms in and around the country. As I said, they built temples.
yeah.
There's a place in Sussex, Fishbourne. I've just got it down. Fishbourne in Sussex. And when we were studying, and the Roman, And we went down there as students. We went down to Fishbourne, and it was a farmer in 1957 or 8 who was digging up his field, and he seen this like mosaic in the muck that he was digging up. So we went over, and then he brushed away. He went down a little bit more, brushed away, and it's the most fantastic mosaic. And what they did, they got these people in, archaeologists. They brushed everything aside, and they found a Roman villa. And they built a replica of the Roman villa. And it's the biggest Roman villa outside Rome. And that was for all the dignitaries coming into Britannicus, as it was named.
Yeah.
The dignitaries, and look at this, it's in Sussex. And so you could imagine what they were building, the Romans.
Yeah.
And they built it fantastic. Because you do have Roman things, artifacts on foot. See, it was the Vikings who knocked everything down. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. It may sound an obvious thing, but when you kind of place this development of civilization, it would have been the Romans that taught us to write things down historically.
Yeah.
This happened to do that, to inform others, to write history.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good that, Andy. It's great what you said. But it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I always said to this old professor of mine, I said, can we believe everything that's written about history? And he just said, no. That's what he said. No.
Because of propaganda.
Yes.
He was the tallest leader in the world. He was the hardest guy ever. He could knock 12 heads together with one. Really? And then you see Charles Hawtrey and you think, not buying that.
I'm not having it. Charles Hawtrey. But you see, it's how you perceive what's written.
Yes.
Honestly, it's how you perceive what's written. And that's why I went into really studied Elizabeth I.
Yes.
And it was imperative that she married to keep the protesters' line going on. And the protesters became the Protestants, against the Church of Rome, during the Reformation. So she had to become, married and have heirs, if you like. Because Edward died, then Bloody Mary, she got that nickname by, again, propaganda. She was executing everyone because people were going, sure, see them over there? Yeah, well, sign the thing here, sign this.
Sign that, love.
They're getting up a coup to overthrow you. And she was signing all these death warrants. So when I studied Elizabeth, it was imperative that she'd marry. Did she marry? And then you get the spin. Oh, she married the country. Think about it. Imperative that she'd have children to keep the line going.
Yeah.
She had a barrier stood in her way. And that was Mary, Queen of Scots. And why she was a barrier was that she was Catholic. So she had her done it.
So this to me is kind of the really interesting thing, in that there would have been people there who wrote the truth, but of course they couldn't get it out anywhere,
No.
and they'd have been killed
Yep.
if someone even suggested. I
Yep.
mean, we know William Shakespeare, through what you said before, would get truth out, but it'd have to be heavily packaged in a play or a synopsis of a story. So no one could protest that. And again, the fact that we're not a million miles away from that today kind of is a bit of a jolt. That if you and I had all the facts on what was going on, whether it be in Ukraine or Israel or whatever, and we wrote it down, and there it is, 2 volumes, no one's going to publish it.
No.
No one's going to put it out.
No. See, look, I'll put this in perspective. I mentioned America. And America, they talk about like rogue states who like wars and everything else. The biggest rogue state on the planet today is America. They love wars. You've only got to look today. I didn't want to do this, but I'm just saying this once. You've got Venezuela now surrounded by big battleships and everything.
Yeah.
And you've got this Rubio fella saying, oh, Maduro's not talking to us. They want to get rid of Maduro and put a fella by the name of Juan someone. And no one knows him. And they want to put him as president like they did a few years ago. They wanted to put him in as president.
Yeah.
And people voted for this fella named Maduro. Now he's being called a drug peddler.
Yeah.
The president is being called, and they're all our enemy, because these Venezuelans, all they want to do is flood America with drugs that kill 50,000 people a day and all this nonsense.
It's pure Robert Cecil, isn't it?
Of course it is. Of course it is, Robert Cecil. Getting back to Shakespeare. Now, do you know that Shakespeare, when he wrote Hamlet, and the very famous line is, there is something rotten in the state of Denmark.
Yeah.
What he was actually saying is, there's something rotten in the state of England, because what he did, he wrote about different, like Macbeth and Othello, Hamlet, they were in different places. And when you seen what was going on in those particular plays, one of the most Machiavellian villains was Iago in Othello. But he was saying there's loads of Iagos here in England.
Yeah.
And that's how Christopher Marlowe was killed. By an agent. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Right, so they got rid of him. They picked a fight with him, killed him, Christopher Marlowe.
Yeah.
And so Iago, there's lots of them here. Lots of spies looking at you. Remember the speech in Macbeth?
Yeah.
When he said, let me think, when he said, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools to wait a dusty death. Out, brief candle, life is but a walking shadow. Now that walking shadow is the Iagos, the spies, the spying on you. What does it apply today? Digital ID. You can't make it up.
Oh.
And he said it. Shakespeare said it. Blake said it.
Blake did. Dickens did as well, but
oh yeah,
heavily. Well, I wouldn't say heavily disguised. It wasn't heavily disguised. It was there, and those that should have taken more notice didn't.
But as I said about Shakespeare, And he wrote about, that was going on outside, but he had to write good stuff.
Yeah.
So he wrote, but he was brilliant the way he did it. So he wrote the histories of the kings, like Henry V. And like there was something about Henry V, good King Harry, and we love him, he's great, Henry V, brilliant. And when he wrote about our flair, and Henry V shouted up to this old man in this castle, because all the soldiers were away fighting the English. And he says, "Open up your gates." And the old man said, "No, there's nobody here. There's only the women and the children. There's no soldiers here. And old men like myself." He said, "If you don't open the gates, we'll come in, kill your babies, rape your women, and kill you." Now, he put that in, not so many words like that, but he put it in, and that's what he said. And yet people didn't think that, this Henry V's not so good after all. You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. No.
And it was brilliant the way he put it over, and this is what he was doing.
Yeah.
Macbeth had nothing to do with England, you see, because it was Scottish.
Yeah.
It was Scottish. The greatest play ever written. As I said, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools. The lighted fools were the protesters. Not the protesters, I'm sorry. Were the gun plotters of the 1605 gunpowder plot. Because it was written in 1606.
Yeah.
And the gunpowder plotters were executed in January 1606. So he wrote that play.
And he observed it, didn't he? Again, it's that thing of reality.
Yeah.
Noting reality and putting it back. This is what happened. And because then and now we live in such a society where you and I could walk past 7 shops now. Go up, we're going to have a beer somewhere, walk past 7 shops, all selling newspapers and magazines.
Yeah.
Which one is telling the truth, Frank?
Exactly.
Well, the idea would be none of them, really.
No.
And it was the same then. But as his other line that we've used over the past few weeks, when things seem absolutely bang on, where he says, "What an era we live."
What a terrible era in which we live. It's a fantastic quote.
Yeah.
What a terrible era in which we live, as idiots govern the blind.
And there you go.
And we're the blinds.
We're the blind.
But we can't say anything.
No.
You had protesters there, going out protesting. Who takes a blind bit of notice? I remember the Iraqi war when we all knew that it was there was no weapons of mass destruction. We knew that because Hans Blix, the leader of the people who was looking for these weapons of mass destruction, said there is none. There's no weapons of mass destruction.
No.
But the likes of Blair and the other fella, Bush, said, Blair it was who was saying, let's go in now. Let's go in now to Bush. So we said, okay. And they went in March 2003 on a big line.
Yeah. And it divided Parliament. It divided all sorts of walks of life. And it was just another Robert Cecil. It was just another script.
Yep.
You know, you, you realize how brave, with how genius these people like Shakespeare were to put this out. What you do with it is up to you, but this is read that and you get an idea. And that's where we are today. What we do with the truth is up to us. But
Yeah, but we can't. We're expressing the truth now. You've only got to look at one of the contemporaries of Shakespeare, a chap by the name of Cyril Tourneur. Now, Tourneur wrote a play, very bloody, but it was about here. As I said, the underlying theme is about here, what's going on. And it's called A Revenger's Tragedy.
yeah,
A Revenger's Tragedy. And it's very bloody, but it was like the bloody things of what was going on at the time as well and what went on in the past. As I said about the executions of Henry VIII, incredible. And there's a cracking one here. Look. Christopher. Didn't he execute Cromwell because of Anna Cleves made her out to be better looking than she was? What it was, that's a cracking comment because when he was not forced, it was an arranged marriage.
yeah,
And when she came, she was Belgian, and when she came over, he went, "Oh, you're all right there?" She said, "Yeah." And when he picked the veil up, he went, "Whoa!"
yeah,
And she was. I'd never used the words ugly, but I have to use it now because that's what he said. She's an ugly woman. I don't want to marry her.
yeah,
And that was it. And he ended up marrying her. And you're
yeah,
right there. He's saying, there's an old saying, isn't it? Beauty is skin deep. And this is what Cromwell was saying. He was a bishop, Cromwell. And he said, beauty is skin deep. She's a lovely person. He said, well, you fucking marry her then.
yeah. I can't you know,
I don't think he swore like, but I
yeah,
can imagine he said saying that.
it was, oh, and my mind's just gone blank and I love him. The artist who was at the time like a human camera, and he did paintings of everyone and
Yeah, the
drawings.
same image.
Yeah,
The
and
same image, yeah.
yet the thing was, well, she's okay. She's not this hideous beast that Henry was making out. But
Making out to be.
so
Because he had his eye on other women, you see.
he had desires of women, and also that unfortunately, whatever happened, where there's one Cromwell, there might be 6 or 7 people in the background, as you've described, these people in the shadows saying, well, if we get rid of him, I can get his job. Well, there's always someone watching where you're going.
Yeah.
Wow. It's fascinating, really.
As Michael J says, for most of the part, people are no more than mere distractions. We're all mere distractions,
Yeah.
Michael. We've always have been and always will be. We are a distraction. And we're a bloody nuisance to politicians, like what you're seeing around the world and these protests. And you know what the protests are for or against. And Janet says, how are you, Frank? Love the backdrop. Helen's cousin. Yeah, I know you're there. I know you're there, Janet. And thanks for that lovely prep. I'll have to show it. But Jason's, I wonder if Jason's back at work because we could have had a little break. And I would have got what Janet showed us. Got me, I'm sorry. She brought me a lovely present down.
Yeah.
I wonder if Jason's here. He mustn't be here, must he?
No.
He must be out on the booze somewhere. He's always drinking, isn't he?
Out with the squirrels and the rabbits.
He's got the maddest rabbit in the world. It comes up like a cat, you know, wanting to be stroked, you know, like the way a cat goes, you know, puts his head like that. And I'm sure it thinks it's a cat, the rabbit. Anyway, Johan says, imagine if the Romans came back and said our ancestors promised us the land. Oh, yeah, like that. They'd have more of a claim than yet the 4 Euro settlers and the promised land. That's a cracker, you. Johan, that's a cracker. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. And they would, because in ancient times, when Caesar got here in BC 37 BC, he went like that. When he got back to Rome, he said, fucking hell, he said, all you see over there is all the dissidents from the likes of Germanica, Germany, Hispania, Spain, Gaul, France. They were all dissidents. They were the tribes.
Yeah.
All these tribes. That's why you had Venutius, Cartamandua, Boudica, Praxatargus. You never had Jimmy and Joan and whatever. You know what I mean? So, Johan, you're so right. The faux settlers in the promised land. More so, yeah, the Romans. I wish they would come and put me to slavery in Tuscany. You know, as a pool man, you know, going around getting the leaves out the pool. And you can call me Pedro. Hey, Pedro, get them fucking leaves out over there, will you? Oh, yes, si, senor, si. And Johan says, Juan Guido, he got his master's in public administration through a joint initiative with the George Washington Uni. No dots to join there. Juan Guido, thank you. Yeah. The Venezuelan fella, yes. Yeah. They wanted him a few years ago. And they said, and ordinary Venezuelan said, who the fuck is this fella? Who is he? But it's who they want to put in simply because of the oil,
yeah,
the emerald mines, and of course the gold mines. And they want it. And it's shocking what and we're standing back and not allowing this to happen.
Again.
Where's
the bag man?
Yes. We all love America. No, Johan. Don't be sorry about anything. No more current. No, because it applies to what's going on. You know, it applies to Mark Twain. It applies to everybody.
Yeah.
And as you know, look. I'll say this again, right? And it's only what he said, Mark Twain. Now, when I say this, who is, you know, if he was going today, who is he talking about? Never argue with an idiot. They will drag you down to their level and beat you with their experience. That's what Mark Twain said. Never argue with an idiot. Who's the idiot in America today? That's all. So no, it does apply to literature and quotes. Because to me, Mark Twain I didn't like his work. Like, I'm being honest with you. I really am. I didn't like the likes of that Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer because it was deep south. I couldn't get into it, as a young man. I really couldn't. So he's a writer. We're doing a history of literature. That's what it's all. Am I right, Anthony?
Absolutely, Frank. And again, he was an observer of life, which found its
Yeah.
way into his prose and his books, and that's what we're, wow.
Did you know that he came to Liverpool and stood on the balcony, the town hall balcony,
Yeah,
March? And
fantastic.
he
No,
said,
I didn't know that.
sorry?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he said, he was looking down Castle Street. Then he went onto the other balcony because there's two balconies on the town hall. There's one overlooking Castle Street, Dale Street, and Water Street, as you know. And
Yeah.
there's also the other one at the back of the town hall that overlooks Exchange Flags. And he went on both and he went, what gentlemen, what gentlemen going about their business. That's what he said, Mark Twain. And Owen says, Janet and Bella, he's letting on to them. Who? Bella. Buonasera, Franco and Anthony. Chat, hope you're all well. Says the lovely Bella. That was an hour ago.
Ah, we haven't come up for air, have we then?
No, it's your fault. You never stopped talking.
Ah, no.
And Michael J says, how can a writer presume to think she will not be recognised when using a pseudonym? Is right. You see, it's like Agatha Christie, for example. She wrote under a pseudonym as well to see how, other stories would go. And they went very well. But you're right,
Conan Doyle did the same, didn't he?
Conan Doyle, yeah, I'm trying. Do you know what I'd love to know about that Arbuthnot? And it was Sherlock Holmes. This Arbuthnot played. It was Sherlock Holmes, but a different guise, and it must have been Conan Doyle. It must have been him who wrote it under a pseudonym.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just wish I only read it once, forgot who it was. I even forgot his sidekick's name, Arbuthnot's sidekick's name. But he has a sidekick just like Watson.
Yeah.
Holborn.
That's absolutely right, Owen. It was the artist who.
The good auntie. Auntie's good.
Thanks, Owen. You're on it. I've been reading about him. I've been. I love him. He's one of my favourite ever artists. But his paintings were regarded as snapshots, photographs, just like the subject.
I've just got to answer this.
Okay. And obviously, in my book, the only ugly image that Holbein portrayed was Henry himself.
Yeah. I'm hopeless, you know. Now, do you know, just typing that out, that's killing me, because I've got that thing going up my arm.
Yeah.
It's our lovely Karen Kariaka out the. She sent me a thing on, you know, a video about Herbert House actually on his works. She
Oh,
said you must watch this, Frank. So
wow.
I had to answer it. And Johan says, sticking to the theme of the show, I'd like to share a poem relating to modern history and literature, since the maniacs love to mention today's date. A short poem in 2 parts, edited for censors. Oh, yeah.
Go, Johan.
I don't know whether. Uh, you constantly disturb me with your screams under my window. You who filled every morning with rush and chaos. You who broke my vase and stole the lonely flower from my balcony. Come back and scream as you want, and break all the vases, steal all the flowers. Come back, just come back. Khaled, Yuma, Palestinian poet. And what he means there is, I'll read that again.
Yes.
Oh, rascal children of Gaza, you who constantly disturb me with your screams under my window. You who filled, oh, I can't fucking read this. You who filled every morning with a rush and chaos. You who broke my vase and stole the lonely flower on my balcony. Come back and scream as you want, and break all the vases, steal all the flowers. Come back, just come back. That didn't half get to me. That fucking got to me. See, there's no more children. There are children, but they're dying every day. And literature, as that Carlyle said, who's a poet, just come back. Oh, fuck.
Thank you, Johan. That is in the same breath as William Blake.
Definitely. Oh, Carol, you sent me the beautiful message. Oh, Johan, those words are hitting at the heart.
Yeah.
And Bella, Johan, so beautiful yet so sad. No, Johan, never be sorry on here. No, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's what we think. It's how we feel. We've got emotions, and nothing's getting done, my friend. Nothing at all is being done about these children. Johan, if you've seen the footage I've seen, that little princess in a little frozen dress, blue dress, wandering aimlessly and she's dead. Dead. I put a thing up last week about a little child who got a lollipop. The first thing she's ever seen in any generosity. She was only 3 or 4. And that's the first generosity she's seen in her little life, in a little tiny life, someone going here. And she was looking and looking at the person and looking, and her eyes were full of fucking hell. And her eyes filling up. Then I put another picture up, another little post about another little girl, another beautiful little child. And she was carrying whatever she was on her back for the parents to light a fire, because the parents couldn't go out unless they were sniped. And she was given a bowl of rice. She said, they said, do you want a spoon? And she went, oh. And this is what's going on today. I was listening to a fucking prick, I'm sorry to swear. I was listening to a prick today, not today, yesterday, named Douglas Murray. Don't know whether you'd have heard of him, a British commentator. He speaks like that, yeah. And he was denying genocide. And he was, he said, well, what about the people? And the people, oh, no, you've never been to Gaza. Either is fucking no one's allowed in Gaza. No journalists. They get killed otherwise. Do you know that more journalists have been killed in Gaza?
Yeah.
Than in World War II, than in 2 World Wars. Not World War II, it's in 2 World Wars. Why? They're getting sniped because they're coming out with the truth. And, once they're killed, they confiscate the film because it's horrendous. Oh, God. Great poem, that. Yeah. That was a great poem.
Yeah, for opening us all up to it and the like.
And Dennis Paparak, my mate, American.
Yeah, I've been on a show with Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis, yeah.
Musician, yeah.
Musician.
Yeah.
Plays at the Cavern.
Yeah.
Tells you the wrong Cavern though. When I went down there, struggled down there. And I went into the Cavern Club and he was appearing at the Cavern Pub. And I come out, I was going home, the way I am. Yeah. And Francine seen me and she was in a pub, and she ran over. She said, where are you going, Dad? I said, I'm going home. I went to see Dennis Paparak and he's not there. And she said, yeah, come here with us. And I went in the pub and went around with her mates, struggling. Cheers, Dennis. Thanks for looking in. And cheers there, by the way. About Gaza. And Michael says, in a drunken haze, he fell upon some torrid rage, which led him down and pulled him through the black, so dark, living brew. So black, so dark, the black, so dark, living brew. Jesus. It's like what I read out, isn't it? That wonderful poem by, the little black thing among the snow crying, weep, weep in notes of woe. It's so sad though, the way things go. I'm going to read you the Divine Image by William Blake, and this is what it's all about. Everything that we've been talking about tonight. Cruelty has a human heart, and jealousy a human face. Terror the human form divine, and secrecy the human dress. The human dress is forged iron, the human form a fiery forge, the human face a furnace sealed, the human heart its hungry gorge. And what we were talking about, Venezuela and the greed.
Yeah.
For resources.
Yeah.
All America wanting resources, wanting to take everybody's resources, every country's resources. Did you know that they've got our resources, by the way?
Well, they own chunks of Scotland, don't they, with the oil?
Yeah, they've got the oil and the gas. And not many people know that. Thatcher sold them.
Yeah.
And that's why the likes of the wonderful Michael Heseltine resigned, and he was demoted to become the Minister of Merseyside. Yeah. And what he done for us was magical.
Yeah.
The Albert Dock.
Yeah.
He built that
no
up.
one else was going to do it.
No, knock at the town. Until he said, do you realise what this is? Yeah, it's fallen zone, Michael. It's fallen zone, mate. And, you can't get through to these people. And he said, stop it immediately. And that's what you see, one of the greatest tourist attractions in Europe.
Yeah.
The Albert Dock.
Yeah.
And as I've said this many times, I did 3 things on 3 alternative days. German television, Japanese television, and Japanese television again. 3 alternative days. And I showed them the Albert Dock from a different angle, the 3 different channels. And they couldn't believe it. I said it's one of the greatest engineering things of any century, because it's built in the middle of the River Mersey.
Yeah.
The angle I looked at, whoa!
What a vision!
They wanted to knock vision. They wanted to knock it down. They wanted to knock it down, mate. It shows you, doesn't it? We sit here, we try to explain the ins and outs of what's going on. And the likes of literature is immense, because we've got tomorrow night as well. And we'll be talking more about Dickens, won't we? We'll be talking more about it. And we'll also be talking about H.G. and the visionary of him. And even George Orwell. You've got a combination of
Yeah.
these great writers who shown the world. You know, people think about, I've always said this, you know, the likes of the wonderful Christmas Carol and Scrooge. Now, what it wasn't just one man he was having a go at. He was having a go at everybody. He was having a go at the state.
Yeah.
When those two fellas came in and said, you know, can you give us some money? We need to feed the poor, you know, give them something to eat and something. And he said, oh, aren't there any union workhouses? And he said, yeah, there's plenty of them. He said, oh, I thought that they were all shut up. And he said, isn't there any debtors' prisons? Oh, I thought that they were. You see what I mean? So
Absolutely.
he
Yeah.
was, go on.
He was almost like a a solo revivalist for Christmas for the right reasons, because it wasn't that heavily practiced. No one gave us stuff.
Well, no one gave anything out. They had
Yeah.
big lavish parties at Christmas, you know, in the town halls, you know, for these people, these
Yeah.
privileged people. They still have them today. You know, there was something, I don't know. I don't watch you know, I don't watch the news, television. Don't know about the king or anything. And he was at a massive big banquet where you see them all sitting there with the, you know, ties, black ties. I've been to loads of black ties things. I've been part of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking part of the elite. I won't go to any of them. I gave a talk to, um, believe it or not, 240 Royal College of Art surgeons.
Yeah.
And it was great, you know, in this amphitheatre. And when I first went in there, I was snubbed by a couple, elderly couple, very tall. My God. And he came over to me, and I brought this gentleman who just lost his daughter. I said, how would you like to come? Take your mind. He said, yeah. I said, have you got a black tie? He said, yeah. And I brought him along. And he was a lovely fella. He's dead now, died a couple of years ago. And he came over, this couple. Now, don't forget, I'm in a tuxedo, black tie. I can show you it. I've got to hang it up in the world. But anyway, he came through these doors and he just turned to like the elderly gentleman who I brought along. And he said, hello. And David, he came from Suffolk or Norfolk. So he has an accent, you know, a nice accent. And he said, and what do you, he said, I've retired now. And he was a farmer, right? And he said to me, and who are you? I said, oh, I'm giving a talk. This is what he done. He went, and his wife, who's standing there, very erect, straight back. And he looked at me and just went, turned and walked away. Never said a dicky bit. But at the end of my speech, I was with Lord Owen. He gave a speech. He was my fellow speaker. He went up first. I went up second. And they were clamouring to shake me hand, that couple. And this fellow who'd been in Iraq, young man, military, royal, you know, from the Royal College of Art surgeon. He was a top surgeon, obviously. And he has all his medals on. And he came up to me and said, you have just broken down the barriers of snobbery. Well done. On my shoulder. On my arm. Well done.
Wow.
So you see, s- snobbery is still here
Oh yeah.
in every walk of life.
Yeah.
But as I said about Dickens and A Christmas Carol, that was having a go at everybody. It was having a go at all these people who were tight. Do you know during the 19th century, people, when they knew they were on the way out, they wouldn't give anything to anybody during their lifetime. Yet they always left a little money for a charity, buying the way into heaven.
Yeah.
That's what they were given.
That still applies now in a
Yeah.
large respect.
That is our little Mia. Little Mia's with us. Hi Anthony, I'm Frank and chat, says Mia.
I am Mia. Hope you're good.
Here's our Johan again. The harlots cry from street to street shall weave old England's winding sheet. The winners shout, the losers curse, dance before dead England's hearse. William Blake.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to explain before, because they were passing on all these diseases. That's what Blake was saying. These people coming in for these young girls. She was no more than a young harlot's care. She was no more than 14, yet she had a baby. Blast the infant's tear. You see, so that was life during the period. Well, you could go from the Georgian period right up to the Prince Regent, and then again the George IV period, George III, George IV, right up to William-esque. No one they forget about William being a king after the other fella, George IV, then Victoria, and so on. And that was the most depraved, decadent millennium ever. Not millennium, I'm sorry, century ever. They were full of just horrible people. Have you been heavy tonight? It's been heavy. Had our little Mia there. Saying hello to everyone. And Mia said, I'm great, Anthony, and hopefully you're good too.
I am. Thank you, Mia. I am. Thank you.
Not about poor Frank, like, I'm great, Frank. I hope you're that. It's just too Anthony. Well, Frank's in pain with his elbow. What do you think about tonight and our lovely chat?
I love it. I love it. Again, my golden thing with whatever we do is to learn something new, and it never fails every time we're on. And of course, our wonderful chat have been fantastic with all of the comments and the quotes and that absolutely humbling piece that Johan put up with the Palestinian poet. And we're
Yes,
never far enough away from that
that was the highlight.
little black speck in the snow that William Blake
Oh,
wrote about.
You see, we'll concentrate tomorrow just on the literature. Orwell,
Yeah.
Dickens, we've got to concentrate on Dickens. HG, and obviously Blake had come into it. What I'd like to do, though, if you don't mind, this is for Halloween, and if anyone wants it, if you've got any grandchildren, um, you know, or kids even, you know, if you're young enough to have kids at school age, and if you want to, my poem, I could give you it, you know, if they're bringing in anything for Halloween, you know, like poetry or whatever, you know, the school kids. I
Yeah.
could send you my poem.
You should
Can I read it out?
read it out.
It's only about Halloween. If you get it. Stop the thing. I can't fucking get it. Do you believe it? I can't swipe it. Fuck's sake. I can't swipe it over. Oh, for fuck's sake. Did it? Right. Let me see. Let me see. I wrote this for my granddaughter. And it's, do you mind if I read it out? And if anyone wants it, just let me know and I'll get it sent to you. It's just called Halloween, and I wrote it for my granddaughter. Oh, fucking hell. I was going to read it and a fucking message came up and I can't start it. Until I can start it now. It's just my luck. The eerie sounds of wind gushing through the night air. Spirits are awoken to terrify a ghostly town. Strange goings on, unearthly sounds of the demonic kind, making all living hearts shudder. The stench of rotting flesh fills the acrid night air, visions of transparent spectres silently floating in the night air. The fear of one's senses soaring, searing, non-stop howling, becoming louder and louder. Ghouls, spirits, spectres, witches, thick with grotesque shapes, swooshing through the night air, terrifying the living and drowning their fearful screams. Flee and hide you must do, as they are coming straight for you.
Beaut. If someone had read that to me when I was a kid, it put me right off me jelly and cake.
Yeah, I did it, you know, and for Sophia. I wrote this one as well, and I said to Sophia, "What do you want?" And I wrote this on the 10th of August, 2023, because she said, you know, we're doing Halloween and things. I said, okay. Shadows of ghouls and spirits come out to haunt the night. Grotesque lit pumpkin faces light up darkened streets. Children dressed in evil splendor, playing trick or treat for fun. Ignore their demands at your peril as the darkened night drags on. A witch's cauldron of sinister brews could be your demise. If treats are not forthcoming, be sure of an evil surprise. No enjoyment on the night. Halloween will see to that. Children, ghouls, and spirits are having a joyous time. A night of misery awaits us all as we sit waiting for their evil call. Trick or treat.
Beaut. Lovely. I also love the poem you wrote and you've read out for us before, but perhaps, include it in tomorrow because I think it totally fits in with what we've been discussing tonight
Okay.
about the loneliness, isolation,
Yeah,
and the blank piece of paper.
blank piece of paper. Yeah, I'll do that
I
tomorrow.
love that. I love that.
Yeah, I've got it there. All my little poems.
Yeah, that is so current to what.
It is current though, isn't it? As you said, the blank paper.
Yeah,
Blank paper. You're sitting there and you're waiting and your mind's a blank.
yeah.
You know, your mind's a blank. Let's see what our lovely chatters are saying. And Johan says, who kept the post-mortem donations? The church or individuals? That's a cracker, that. And no one knows. And Michael, been good, guys. It's better to choose your company when needed, says Michael. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Mike. I think.
Yeah. A thought-provoking chat tonight, says our lovely Karen. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, sweetheart.
That's what we aim to do with ourselves as well as all.
And Johan says, I want it. Okay, yeah, you can have both of them. Pick and choose what one. Pick and choose, my friends, and I'll send you them. What you'll have to do, though, you get our email on there, but I can't get in. It's only Jason who can get into it. So, but Jason will send it on to me. And I'll send it on to you. You've got to get hold of me. Send me an email or whatever, and we'll sort it out from there. We'll sort it out, Johan. And that lovely Ellen said, I always learn something new watching you. Thank you, Frank and Anthony. No, thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you. And me too. Right.
And would you recommend the the Tempest which is going on up at Prescott? That they built the Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shakespeare North. Yeah.
And the likes of Janet and Helen, ambidextrous are going. That's where they're going. Yeah, of course, I'll recommend it. Do it tomorrow night. The Tempest. May and Helen are going tomorrow, Janet. Oh, you'll love it. You will love it. Well, I'll tell you what, we've saved that for next week for you, seeing that you won't be with us. Unless you're going in the afternoon. And then, yeah. And Johan says, thought you didn't like spooky, Frank. You want to scare Sophia, channeling the inner EA Paul. Oh, that's what we forgot. Paul, we forgot about.
Yeah, it's his anniversary today, isn't it?
Oh, friggin' hell. And get on.
Yeah.
I don't like spooky stuff, to be honest, Johan. However, I was asked to write, a couple of poems, and so I said, yeah, okay. Not a couple. I just decided to write one and like the other. But I gave the less, if you like, frightening one to Sophia. Because the rotten flesh one, thought that was a bit too much. Edgar Allan Poe, and he reminds us of.
There you go.
And Johan says, Frank, remember the book I recommended to Faster Tortoise, The Fortunate Pilgrim? They produced a show out of it, and guess who played the matriarch? Go away. It all comes full circle. Sophie. Sophie. That was me and R. Jarrett's pin-up. Sophia. Janet's got a thumbs up because of the tempest tomorrow.
Yeah, and yeah, you said it'd be great.
Bella says, Franco and Anthony, very deep tonight. Thank you both. Good night, chat. I hope it wasn't too deep for you. It's the way it is, you see. We just go off on a tangent. But tomorrow night it'll just be, be Dickens. It'll be the great visionary of the wonderful H.G. Wells. It'll be, obviously, Orwell. That's who. Yeah. Yeah. Even Jules Verne, the great writer, French writer.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Captain Nemo.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, you in the realms of science fiction, you go back to Mary Shelley, don't you?
Mary Shelley.
Who was possibly the first.
It was. Because she was having a go at science. We'll talk about it tomorrow night, eh?
Yeah.
The first thing we'll talk about tomorrow night is science fiction. Yeah. And Mary Shelley. Don't forget, Frankenstein, Prometheus Unbound. That's the full title.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll speak about tomorrow. If anyone will care to join us.
I'm sure we'll have a good gang, Frank.
Yeah. And Janet's laughing at us. But...
Well, I can take that.
I can see. And Johan, thank you, Frank and Mr. Brown, for a brilliant show. No thanks to Jason.
Yeah.
Off to the pub while Franco needs his tea. Unforgivable. Take care, legends of the chat, and have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Oh, that's great, Johan. Thank you for being with us. And all.
And all of them. Every single one of them. All great chats. Every comment.
Yeah.
Brought something new.
It did.
And even Janice, she said about her backdrop.
Yeah.
I used to teach literature, and I used to have this as my backdrop, you see. But I did it on Zoom.
Yeah.
I did it on Zoom.
It's
And when
weird.
you think what he says there, here let us breathe and happily institute a course of learning and ingenious studies. And that was from the Taming of the Shrew. Christopher, brilliant show tonight, Frank and Anthony, and everyone up the literature heads. Up the literature heads.
Read literature. Yeah.
Great comments from Steve Mulholland to Johan.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, that.
Yeah.
And thank you, Frank and Anthony.
Thank
That's
you.
from Stephen Mulholland.
Thank you.
I'd love you to meet Stephen, you know. He's a smashing fella. You know, he's one of those gentle people.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
There's a few people I'd like to fucking meet on here. I can't meet them. Can't meet them. I could be walking in Sainsbury's with my little trolley and bumping into them. And they'll go, hello, Frank. I'll go, hello.
Yeah.
Who are you? Oh, I'm Johan. Oh, I'm Rowan Lee. Oh. And Johan to stay. An honour coming from you, Mr. Mulholland. Thank you, sir. And there's a Scotch beer. There's a Scotch.
Mr. Kindness.
Hey, there's a Scotch. How about that? And that's Scotch. He'd rather have a Cuban rum. Cuba. And Owen says, I think every character you have mentioned tonight has been on the Murdoch Mysteries. Could have been. Could have been. Might go to the Pig and Whistle next Wednesday afternoon, says Steve Mulholland. Why? Why the Pig? Have a look at that. Have a look at that sign where it says about the Negro and the Irish.
No Irish, no dogs.
And the dog. It just shows you, doesn't it, how it was.
Yeah. Not so far to go as well. You know.
No. Well, my watch is still going.
Good. Just keep it safe.
Yes. Yes. And I just want to thank these wonderful people for sponsoring every Frank Carlyle post.
Absolutely.
Stream. And it's Gap Painting Services, fully time served, lads, fully insured, 5-star rating, customer rating, and customer references on request. Just get them. Don't struggle. Please. Please, please, please. Just get them in. And if you're an NHS worker and an elderly couple, you 2 categories get special discounts. Just get them in. If you know anyone, by the way, you know, who works for the NHS, tell them about these people and they're wanting to decorate. If you know any elderly who needs decorating, they're going to bring in cowboys. Don't fucking allow them. Get these people in. The proper people. Look at this comment here. Look. The faster sorters. I've loads of crap to do around the house, so miss most of it. We back on tomorrow then? Yeah.
Yeah.
The same, the history of literature. It was great because we had an hologram of Edgar Allan Poe, and he was superb. We
Yeah.
spoke to him from the other side. So yes, faster. We're on tomorrow. Can I ring you? I'll make a cup of tea. Can I ring you?
Of course. Yeah.
Are you sure now? Will you answer me?
I will answer you. Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be sitting there with all the scotches you've got off Johan.
I know. I'm going to line them all up. And then if you don't phone till 2:00, then I will probably be reciting the Swahili handbook.
And that's the fastest says, love a bit of Poe. Oh,
Yeah.
you've loads about him tonight. Absolutely.
Me too.
Reams of it. Reams of his works. No, we haven't. Only joking. Might do him tomorrow for you.
His mother
And on
was
that wonderful, what? Go on.
his mother was an English actress, Edgar Allan's, and she unfortunately died when they were small children. But yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that at all. And Janet says, have you heard of Barry Thorne, an author in Stratford? No. No, I haven't. I'm sorry, Janet. And Owen says, thank you for the great company, gents, and chat.
Thank you, Owen.
And on that wonderful note, Anthony, thanks for tonight, coming on, and tomorrow night as well.
Thank you as ever, Frank.
And we've thanked Gap Painting Services.
Absolutely.
And we have to thank two more contributors. But one of them's not here. And who's that?
Oh, that's all Jason.
Yeah, he's always drinking.
He's either up in that balloon trying to draw the last little section of that map that we keep missing. Or, of course, he's rounding up the scotches somewhere. And we can't blame him for either.
No.
And, of course, our other big thank you is to our beautiful chat family.
Yes.
Who've been great tonight. Absolutely wonderful. And we wouldn't have a show without them.
No. Well, that's it, isn't it? That's it, aren't we? That's it. And our moderators as well.
Yeah.
Our wonderful moderators. Good night, everyone. Sleep tight, says the lovely Karen Kariaku.
Good night, Karen. Thank you.
She's a lovely girl. I'd love you to meet her. And her husband, Steve. He's a cracking fella, you know. They're all brilliant. And Bella goes, I don't know what that means, Bella. Ah. And Dennis Paparak says, have a good night, guys. Detroit bound for, oh, yeah. Then off to Spalding, Lincolnshire, here, for a much needed holiday. Liverpool next. Oh, you've got people at Spalding, haven't you? You know, friends.
Yeah.
And Liverpool, I'll be away. I'm going to Italy next May. It depends on when you come, Dennis. Everything is booked. Me, Francine, and Sophia. She wants to see Juliet's balcony in Verona.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm taking you. She went, oh, can I wear an Ekatike on me back? Us from Basel. Or Isak. Great. And Jeanette says, this, I don't, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't get it. Can't get it. Oh, Daryl, like Dad and Anthony. Thanks.
Oh, oh, good night, Daryl. Thank you.
Right, Daryl, mate. I'm a little lost on two. I mate getting on the men's from. Who you are your mate in Spalding? Not you. Fucking hell, come on. Family fun, Italian style, love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Dennis. Oh, Dennis. And Daryl, can you text me, Frank? Lost you? No. No, I will. Of course I will. Dennis, it may sound terrible, but I'm glad it's not you, fella. But it's awful, you know, nevertheless. I'm so sorry for your mate, but I'm so relieved that it's not you, because you're a good friend and a good man and a good musician, and you fucking don't tell me the right places to go to, and don't say you do. So you've been told off. And on that wonderful note, I'll text you there in a moment. I've got to speak to Anthony first. Got to make myself a cup of tea. And
put your tea in.
Yeah, and I will text you, Daryl. You don't worry about that. You'll have it first thing in the morning when you wake up, because I know that you go to bed early and getting a little lost enough for school. I had 60 back in mid-August. My lads are 30, beginning of September, as a naughty 90 combo B day bash in. Where he goes, you see, Nashville. Oh, piss off. And do you know where he lives? Tampa Bay. And he sees alligators across the fucking lawn. Alligators. Do you want to come over, Frank? Stay here. Fuck off.
No.
You can imagine me tipping me little feet in his lake, you know, feet. Like that. And a big alligator coming up. No thanks. I'll be 8 or 30, 60. Anyway, Anthony, I'll give you the ring. It'll be within the next half hour. I won't keep it long, okay?
All right, Frank. Okay.
Cheers, mate. And thank you all, you wonderful chatters. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good luck. I made up, Dennis, that it's not you, mate, but I'm also, I feel for your friends at Spalding. Okay. See you all tomorrow, or most of you at least. Thank you so much for joining us, Anthony and myself. Thank you.
Good night, all.
Good night.